All right, we're going to start working with a long leash in this video. Working with a long leash is very, very similar to working with a short leash. You just have less control and your dog has more freedom. And that's kind of the point. We're trying to give them more freedom to practice off leash. But we're still maintaining some control so that they're not totally wild or go into bad habits or, do the stuff that they were doing before that we've been working on changing. So I strongly recommend that you get a biothane leash. They're available from this website called palaminelines.com. You can pick any color. They're very cute. I would get a 3/8 inch width. So they have two widths, 1/2 inch and 3/8 inch. You get 3/8 inch width, and the length I would get is 20 feet. I personally use 20 foot, 10 foot, and 6 foot leads all the time, these biothane leads, almost daily. But to start, just get a 20-foot lead. If you want to get a bonus, you can get a rivet. I would put the rivet about 2 feet from the end of the leash. It's very not essential, but it's kind of nice while the leash is flowing through your hand that you can feel the rivet and then you can know when you're reaching the end of the leash. But if you just get a 20-foot leash, 3/8 inch width, you'll be perfect. So with long leash training, it's the same as with short leash. You want to start in low distraction environments, and then gradually move to more higher distraction environments or add distractions into the low distraction environment where you already have been practicing. You can also bring out your place bed and use that to as an additional thing to practice with your long leash. So say there's a field near your house where you like to practice. You can bring your place bed, your cot to that field and practice sending your dog to place. So you'll have a lot more distractions. So it'll reinforce your place and command, and it will also reinforce your off-leash obedience. And remember to add in your 3 Ds: distraction, distance, duration. And we're going to be doing that in this video. I'm going to be showing you adding in distraction, distance, and duration. When you're doing long leash stuff, usually you're out in the world, and so the environment provides a lot of that already. We don't really have to bring it as much, but just kind of keep it in mind as you're weighing those things. If it's a very high distraction, you might want to have less duration, for example, depending on how much your dog has practice. So when you're doing long leash stuff, you want some of the practice to be directed by you. So you're kind of in charge. You're telling your dog what you'd like them to do. You're working on having them listen to you. And you want some of it to also be kind of free form. So your dog is maybe allowed to sniff, or they're on a break. And then you can either leave them on that break for a few minutes as long as they're being well behaved, or you can interrupt it. Like if they're sniffing something, you can use that to reinforce your recall, your come command. So you want it to be a balance. You don't want your whole long leash exercise to be just all like dictation by you. Your dog's going to get really bored with that. And part of what you want to do is let them enjoy the environment, let them get some stimulation from the environment. So letting them sniff around, it seems counterintuitive in a way, but giving them more freedom sometimes is going to actually get them to listen to you better. Within reason. Don't let them go totally wild. And you want to end your session with some play. So, or just a nice break. It doesn't have to be like necessarily a tug game of play, but it should be like upbeat and happy, and your dog should end your training session in a good mood. So keep it fun. So in the upcoming videos, we're going to watch a few videos with a few different dogs. The first one we're going to look at is a video with Bug. So Bug is already trained. So we're running through, for him, what's an easy drill. Just hit basically all the long leash stuff, but it's for him, he's so well practiced. He needs almost no correction, almost no direction. And I wanted to include this video so you can see what kind of ideally what you're going for when you're practicing this stuff with your dog. Kind of what a recall, when you say come, what should it really look like? It should look like your dog just coming straight to you and sitting, and that's what Bug's doing in this video. And he's gotten so much practice with it, with his owners and with his trainer, that he just already knows it really easily. And another great thing about this video is that I know if I unclipped that leash, Bug is just going to behave exactly the same as when the leash is clipped because he's had so much practice. I can tell that because I'm not correcting him very much at all. That's the point you want to get to with your dog before you trust them to be off leash. So if your dog is on long leash and you're continually correcting them with recalls, or they won't hold their sit or whatever, like, you need to go back to the basics and practice your 3 Ds, distance, distraction, and duration, before you unclip the leash. So once your dog looks basically like Bug in this video, then you know you can unclip the leash, and at least in this environment, he's going to listen to you approximately that well. And so then we're going to, after the video with Bug, we're going to go to some videos of dogs that are more works in progress. So you'll get to see more of, how to actually intervene when your dog is learning how to use the long leash. Okay, we're going to do long leash stuff. There's 2 ways to hold the long leash. One is find the end of it and get a firm grip on your thumb. Could be your forefinger, doesn't really matter. And you're just gonna hold that grip the whole time, and you're gonna walk back and forth doing switchbacks pretty much. The other way, which is a little bit more advanced, but you're gonna need to learn it, is you have a spot on the leash, you have kind of a loose grip, and as your dog walks away from you, it's kind of loosely he's dragging it out, and when you want to bring him in, you reel him in like a fishing net. So those are the 2 ways to hold the leash. One is find a spot. It doesn't really have to be at the end, but you just pick a spot and you grip it and you walk with it like that. The other is you're going to be more dynamic in where you're gripping the leash, and you're going to have to learn both of them. So practice with both of them, and you'll see both of them in the demo video as well. Bug. Break. Take a break. Good boy. Yeah. I did a switchback. Bug. Good boy. Let's go. Bug, come. Good boy. Sit. Good. Take a break. Break. Good boy. Sit. Good. Take a break. Take a break. Let's sit. Down. Okay, next we're going to see a clip of Jack, aka Jackrabbit, because he jumps like a crazy man, like a bunny. So some important context to keep in mind for this video with Jack. So, because it's a group video, he's with other dogs. First of all, Jack has no behavioral issues. He just doesn't listen very well yet. He's a young guy. So he hasn't shown any aggressive behavior at all. He has a great recall already, just from his age and from his parents practicing with him a lot. These dogs in the video, they already know each other, they already trust each other. So I would not do this type of practice with a dog who has shown aggression with dogs he doesn't know, for example. So that's just all important context to keep in mind. So what we're working on is we're just introducing more freedom for Jack and introducing him to some new concepts. So, okay, so what are we actually working on in this video? So he's in a very high distraction environment and he's very outward focused. Jack wants to look for birds, sniff, roll. He doesn't really pay attention to me much at all. So what I want to work on is having him do very basic exercises of engagement and name recognition. So I'm working on having him offer me his attention, and when I say his name, I want him to pay attention to me when I say his name, or change what he's doing. So as we go through this process with Jack, we're mainly doing two things. One, we're watching for when he's going to catch the end of the leash. That's really important. And right before he catches the end of the leash, it's basically where he's going out. he's running away or walking away, and he's about to reach the end of the leash because I'm holding it in a tight grip. Right before he hits the end of the leash, I'm going to say his name or say a corrective word. So that's the one thing that we're doing. We're using basically his natural behavior of moving away from us as a training tool for us, or as like an opportunity to train. The second thing we're doing with him is when he volunteers engagement, we're marking that and rewarding him. In the video, I do some narration, so make sure that your volume is on. And let's go see what's up with Jack. Yes! Take a break. So that one, I did a few treats because I don't want him to just take one treat and then zip out again. So it's building duration. Good boy, Jack. Yes. Take a break. Yes. I'm walking backwards. Good boy. Take a break. Good. Jack. Good boy. So I called his name right before he hit the end of the leash. That was to give me, it was a setup where I knew if he didn't listen that he would get the end of the leash, so it would give him a correction. So it was just timing. Good boy. Do another one of those. Oh, good boy. I didn't have to because he's learning the length of the leash and he's checking in with me even without me needing to tell him. So I'm giving him verbal praise or treats or both. Yeah. And right now I just want him to, Jack, yes, good boy. I just want him to come near me, but I can eventually make it so that he's a little less sloppy. Hey. So that was just sloppy on my part. I wasn't thinking. Good boy. Treat. Jack. Good boy. You can kind of predict, like, if all the dogs are ahead of you, oh my god. And he's probably going to want to go forward. So you can predict when he's going to dart ahead. Hey, chill. So I just put my foot on the leash here. Huxley, chill out, brother. Yeah, chill. Yeah, chill. Just want everyone to stand still for a minute after something like that. Huxley's crazy. Okay. Good boy. I also let the leash go. Jack's leash, the yellow leash, I let it go when Huxley was darting around because I knew he would stick with Huxley, so if I needed to, I could recall Huxley. I also let it go because, so I wasn't afraid Jack was going to run away because he was focused on Huxley. Good boy. I also let it go because it was pretty unfair if he was going to get a correction at that time. Good. Because Huxley was giving him such a big distraction. that, Huxley, come on, that if he got a big correction, I mean, depending on the dog, that might be okay, but I just didn't feel like it was fair for him. And also, he's a really gentle player for the most part, so I didn't want him to get such a big correction for something he's not really doing wrong. He's just getting excited, and it's really Huxley's fault. So that's why I dropped the leash at that time. Good boy. So he's just checking in with me a lot. I think because he did get some corrections on the leash from his name. Do one more. Jack! Good boy. Good boy. And that's beautiful. Good boy. Get him a... Except that he walked away at the end. Oh well. Maybe he dropped the treat. Okay. Signing out. Okay, the next clip is of Bella, and she's working on a 10-foot leash. She's already really engaged. She really enjoys the treats that I have, and we're not in a super high distracting environment. So her engagement's really good. She's offering me a lot of attention. So we're just running through some drills with sits and downs and having her do some duration in those. And I'm using the 10-foot leash to make even more distance from if I just have a 6-foot leash. It's the same, so if she gets out of the sit or the down, it's the same correction as I would do if it's on a short leash, on a 6-foot leash. I'm going to say no or depending on the level of offense, basically. And if she doesn't correct her behavior herself, I'm going to do a pop on the leash. And the pop also varies depending on the level of offense. So I'll do a light pop or a more firm pop depending on other things in the context. And for the sits, to correct the sit, I'm going to pull the leash up. And to correct for the down, I'm going to pull the leash down. And I demo that in the video. With the down, you can either use your hand to pop the leash down, or you can also use your foot as kind of a lever so that the angle is downwards with the leash. Sit. Good. Yes. Good girl. Good girl. Come. Sit. Good. Bella down. Sit. Good. Good. Down. Good girl. Sit. Good. Down. Good girl. Good. No, down. Good. Take a break. Good girl. All right, next up is a video of Harold. Harold is a very independent boy, and I would say this is probably the most important video for you guys to pay attention to, and you'll probably want to watch it a few different times. So in this video, I say Harold's name. He gives me really good name recognition. He's on a sniff, and he comes off the sniff and kind of pays attention to me for a second, and then he runs past me, which is fine. It can be okay. He stopped sniffing, which is what I was basically asking when I said his name. So then I wanted him to come, so I said come. He ignored me. Notice I only said it one time. I say it one time in the video, and he ignores me, so I give a pop on the leash, a quick little pop on the leash. And then just in case he doesn't remember what I said, why he got the pop, I tell him come again. You don't necessarily have to do that. The main thing is you give the command once. If he doesn't respond, you do the pop. And then when he gets to me, sit, good boy, blah, blah, blah. It's a good thing when he gets to me, basically. So then you'll see a few seconds later, he is allowed to do another, he's sniffing again, and I do another recall, and he comes to me right away. So that's kind of shows the value of doing a really crisp, well-timed pop on the leash. It's just boundary setting, clarifying rules. Like, Harold knows this stuff, and he's just very independent and doesn't want to do it. So it was kind of perfectly timed, and he gave the perfect response, which was to listen better the next time I ask him to do it. Harold! Good boy! Come. Come. Good boy. Sit. Take a break. Harold, come. Yes, good boy. What a good boy. Very good, come. Take a break. Good boy. Sit.